Nick Bonitto was selected with the 64th pick to the Denver Broncos, and he's someone who, when I watch the tape, I'm just not really impressed with him. But when I look at his numbers, I'm incredibly impressed with him. So he is a very unique prospect, and I really like taking a chance on him at this selection. 64, it feels like a good chance where if it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. And there's also a very real chance he's kind of more of a, role player than he is just a 3-down starter. However, there still is that chance that he could be a legitimate awesome player if he performs as well at the NFL level as he did at the college level. So first, let's talk about the numbers themselves and why that's enough to get me interested. So these are the numbers, and again, if you're looking for, where are his sacks? Where are his tackles? That's not, again, if you're relatively new to this channel, that is definitely not what I look at. I look at more statistics like this. These are from Pro Football Focus, where you see his pass rush grade, all this stuff that you see on the screen. These tend to be things that do translate to the NFL level pretty well. If you're good at this stuff, you do tend to be good at it at the NFL level as well. Not always, but often. So like pass rush grade, you see, the further that dot is over to the right, the better. Very good. Run defense, not spectacular. Again, it's good for college, but it's not great for the NFL. True pass rush set grade, also not as good, drops over 6 points. The pass rush win rate is really the number that gets you excited at 29%. That's just fantastic. That's just an incredible statistic, and it's something that, he does a great job at winning. Run stop, again, not as good. But you look at this and say, okay, well, he could be a great pass rusher, right? But when I watch the tape, I just feel like these numbers can be misleading. Like something like this, for example, I just want to be very clear. I think these numbers are misleading in the sense that I don't think he's that good. I mean, his numbers are like amazing. I don't think he's that good. That doesn't mean he can't be good. But like a lot of his pressures and sacks came in very non-traditional ways. This is an example where he's just going to be a quarterback spy here. Watch how right when this play begins, you see how he just sort of waiting back unless he can see that he has a clear shot to get to the quarterback. As you notice, he does. He gets up and he gets a sack there. So yeah, you got a sack, but is that really something that's going to translate to the NFL level? Not really. But again, he did his role well. It's not a bad thing that he can do that stuff, just not as impressive as if he's beating tackles easily. Something like this, where he's going up one-on-one against a right tackle. This is another classic example of, I feel like a lot of times when guys are hyped up and then don't live up to the hype, it's because they, this is how they got a lot of their pressures. Well, watch what happens. Watch Bonitto just blow by that tackle. I mean, for one thing, that is good. Like, it's good that he can do that. And that will mean that if he has a great first step at the beginning, he will, continuously be able to have a great first step and all that stuff. But now as the tackle goes, to try and block him, he's just not even really touching him. And this is kind of one of those weird things where it's like, I would almost rather see, a scenario where you're going up against a better tackle and he gets over there, and I can see how well a tackle can do at trying to push Bonitto past his quarterback and things like that. We just didn't get to see that, which doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that he can't beat good tackles, but it does mean that his numbers were probably inflated a little bit. As you see, Bonitto gets by pretty much untouched and creates a pressure there, but it's still just, I just don't know how consistently a move like that will work at the NFL level. It'll probably get you ahead in certain areas, but there's more to football than just your first step, so that's kind of the concern. But again, it is good that he can do that. We also have something like this, where I also felt like a decent amount of his plays were, things that worked, but things that worked largely due to kind of the offense screwing up. Like, watch the offensive lineman who's supposed to block Bonitto. Watch him take a step too far over, and that's all Bonitto needs. He gets over and makes a tackle. So again, these are good plays. Every play I'm showing is a good play. I'm not going to show bad plays because that's irrelevant to the discussion. My point is, are some of these, inflated? Are these making his statistics look better than they actually are? Now, there is something like this where this is, I think, a solid play. So he's going to be going up one-on-one against a left tackle. There's also a tight end who's lined up right next to the tackle that it's just going to be a little bit confusing. It might be because there's an extra guy there that you can't really see from this angle. But anyways, it's just the tackle that Bonitto is going up against, and watch what happens. Again, Bonitto going to use his speed to kind of get over. That's what you want to see have happen. So for the tackle. What you want to do is you want to get your left arm ideally as far over to Bonitto, as far over to your left, get it kind of on his, ideally you'd get it on his right pec area, but just as far over as you can. Get your right arm kind of on Bonitto's side and just push him behind your quarterback. As you see, he doesn't really get the hand placement he wants and can't really get over to make something happen. So that's, to me, promising that Bonitto can do that and he can make that stuff work. But again, just the question remains, when he goes up against good tackles who can still get the hand placement they want, will Bonitto still find ways to win? It's just a complete guess. We don't know. So the way I see it, it's absolutely worth taking a chance on him, right? I mean, sure, there is this huge risk factor of what if once that move goes away, he just has nothing and is just not going to be a great player? That could happen. That's in the realm of possibilities. It also could happen, I think, the other way, where I think that he could still have, the ability to win once you take away his, best move. He could still have other tools in his tool belt. The reality is part of why he didn't do much else is because what he did worked. So why change it up, right? His job is to get to the quarterback, get to the college quarterback. His job isn't to try out for the NFL when he is playing, in a college game. He should be trying to get to the quarterback, and he did a great job at doing that. So because of that, I do think that this is a good selection, and there's a lot to feel optimistic about if you are, a Denver Broncos fan. It's not quite so simple, and again, this is kind of where I feel like every time I bring up analytics, people say, you can't use numbers, you got to watch film. This is one of those examples where it's like, yeah, you can't, you do have to do both. Like, again, I think most people that say you can't use numbers, you have to watch film, say that, and then don't use numbers at all. Whereas my mindset is you always want to have an actual blend. And I feel like a lot of people that say you want to have an actual blend still don't have an actual blend and just do one or the other. Like, no, you do have to put these together. You have to make it all work together because, to me, I always felt like numbers don't lie. People say, numbers lie all the time. They don't. They just don't always give you the context that you need. You need sometimes have additional context. But numbers are always a definitive true statement. It's just definitive true statements based on, sometimes based on context that changes the way you would view that. I guess a comparison I'll use is, if I said there's a fire in my house, you might say, oh my God, you have to get out of the house. What are you doing? But then if I came back and said, oh no, it's because I have a fireplace and that's where the fire is, you'd then be saying, oh, okay, well, that's, there's the added context. So, the statement of there's a fire in the house obviously is true. It's just, not the way you might initially interpret it, or maybe it is the way you might initially interpret it. It's just one piece of data. However, if the only information you had was the other side, that there's a fireplace, you wouldn't actually know if there was a fire or not. So using both together can give you the whole picture. So I'm not sure that's the best example, but I think a pretty good one. One that it'll work out. I think you all get the point anyways. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. What do you think of Nick Bonitto? Do you like this chance of taking a flyer on him? Do you dislike it, or do you disagree with how I view him as a prospect in general? One thing I meant to mention earlier and didn't was that every play I showed was on Bonitto's highlight reel. I literally watched a highlight reel and said, these are the plays propped up as his best plays and why I'm not that impressed. So I wanted to do that intentionally. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.